Stop scrolling. Something big is happening, and most people still don't know about it. Welcome to Kuchalo, the place where you get the most interesting stories, updates, and viral moments from around the world, all in under a minute. Every day, millions of videos go viral on the internet, but the truth is, only a few actually matter. That's why we filter the noise and bring you the most important, shocking, and trending stories you should know. From breaking news and internet trends to unbelievable moments caught on camera, Kuchalo keeps you updated with fast, engaging, and easy-to-watch content. Whether you have 1 minute or 5, you'll always leave with something interesting to talk about. So if you love quick updates and viral stories, hit subscribe and follow Kuchalo, because the next big story might be just one video away.
All right, people, the next story might be you. So if you are joining us for the first time, welcome to Kuchalo. This is your host, Noah Ndlovu, broadcasting live from here in the USA. Today we are featuring Zambians in the country of Russia. Russia is the biggest, is a very big country. And I was told, I learned some time back that Russia has got different time zones. Here in the US, we have about 4, maybe you can say 5 time zones, but Russia has more than that. So if you know the time zones for Russia, you want to put it in the chat or type it up on the screen there so we can learn if you know your geography, because I know some of us when we were in school, we learned about geography, and Zambia has only one time zone. So we have students, we have people living in Russia who we don't know how long they've been there. So we are focusing on Zambians in Russia to just get a little bit of what they do, how long they've been there. So without further ado, our special focus today is Zambians in Russia. So let's join our panelists to see who is out there. So we have James, we have Mike Muyunda, we have Peter, and we have others who will be joining us later on. So as we get the show on the road, so let's start with James. James, tell us a little bit about yourself and what are you doing there in Russia? Okay, James, are you able to? Okay, let's go to Mike. Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Noah. Hi, Kuchalo family. So my name is Mike. Right. So to begin, I'm a
Hey,
fourth year.
it's Mike. You want to speak up? You want to speak up so we can capture your audio is a little low.
Okay. Can you hear me? And am I audible enough now?
Yeah. You wanna scream on top of your lungs so we can hear you.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Kuchalo. So this is Mike. My full names are Muyunda Mike Muvita. I'm a fourth year pharmacy student, or soon to be fifth year pharmacy student, or academic year has ended. Um, Yes. So I came here in Russia in 2022 and I've been here since. My journey has been a little short of amazing. I don't really have anything negative to say. Russia is a very good place. I would leave it, and I don't know if you have any specifics, Noah, that you'd like to find out, but generally, I think we'll start with that.
All right. So let's go to Peter. Peter, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been there in Russia? All right. So Peter, are you able to? We may be having some technical challenges. I know Mike can hear me, so if there is any challenge, then it has to be on the other side. So Peter, can you hear us or James? All right. So
James.
hey, Mike, your people, we can't hear them.
Am I audible enough?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you. So my name is James. My name is James Masalam. I'm originally from Chingola, back in Zambia. I've been in Russia for the longest now. I'm in my final year of studying medical school. Aside from being a student, I recently published a book called What I Wish I Knew as an African. I actually do have a copy of it. Yeah. Aside this, I am a student leader. I am an editor, a copywriter as well. That in a nutshell is who I am. I'm sure if there's any specifics or particulars you want to find out, I'm sure we will get to unfold them as the conversation goes further.
All right, all right. So that's good. So I know technical challenges. Russia is a big country, and we're up here in the US. So
Okay,
maybe.
Noah, I don't know if it's just on my end, but I'm having challenges hearing you.
All right, all right. So if
It's
there
the
are
same
some
case here.
challenges, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll fix that, and we'll be right back. So sit back, relax. We'll take a short break, and then right back in a few
Maybe you should write
seconds.
it in the chat.
Welcome to Kuchalo, your leading online hub for Zambians at home and abroad. Kuchalo is a trusted source of news, lifestyle, and practical information tailored for Zambians near and far. What we are: a platform designed by Zambians for Zambians and friends of Zambians. Tight-knit, inclusive, and Ubuntu-powered. We bring you the latest news, travel and tourism insights, investment opportunities, educational resources, and uplifting diaspora stories. A community-focused, non-political space celebrating our heritage. What we offer: community stories, diasporans making an impact, a bias-free zone, calm, factual, resonance over sensationalism. Our approach is Ubuntu first, content that strengthens community, celebrates heritage, and brings people together. Clarity, relevance, and inclusivity. Voices from Zambia and the global Zambian family, where you'll find us: in Zambia, the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, South Africa, and everywhere in between. Kuchalo keeps you informed, connected, and inspired. Join the Kuchalo community today.
All right, so it looks like we were having some technical challenges on the audio, and I hope this time the audio is good. So let's see if our people can hear. Hey, James, Mike, are you able to get the audio output on the end there? Can you hear me, guys?
Okay, so we seem to be having the same challenge. Noah, we cannot
Okay,
hear anything.
yeah,
I'm
so
saying.
my audio up here is fine.
It's
So
like
let me
it's
see.
muted,
Let me
I don't
see.
know.
So let's do this. Let's try to double check the audio, and then we'll be right back.
Mitengo izo, mitengo izo, mitengo izo. Hey, mitengo izo, amama mitengo izo. Mitengo izo, mitengo izo, mitengo izo. Hey, mitengo izo, amama mitengo izo. Tisazijue, tisazitente, tisawanonge. Amama mitengo izo, tisazijue, tisazitente, tisawanonge. Amama mitengo izo. iyo njala iyo naonani atu wakulila kulia mitengo iyo njala iyo
Filalaba impanga emushiwa na manefyo nefyo nsebane oya eya oya eya nefula kaileloka bantu fimuti mwalitema natulekyo kuteme fimuti twalaona
tisazijue tisazitante tisawanonga amama mitengo izo tisazijue tisazitente tisawanonga amama mitengo izo Ukwino wa Africa, yeah, ukwino wa Zambia, yeah, yeah,
All right, people. So I'm getting a comment that they can hear me perfectly fine out there. So if the people in Russia are not able to hear me, that could be on your end, that side. So shows that my audio is good here. So we
No,
want to
no,
double
now
check.
it's
James, can you
audible.
hear me now?
Yes, now it's audible.
Oh, okay, okay. Mike, you okay?
Perfect.
All right. So
Perfect.
James, tell us a little bit about. You said you've been there studying for over some time, and you are almost finishing up.
Yes, yes.
How is life for a Zambia? We're gonna get to your book. Tell us a little bit about Russia. There, the time zones. There are so many time zones in Russia. Talk a little bit about just on a day to day how life is like for Zambians.
Well, thank you so much. For starters, I think as many might be aware, Russia is well the biggest country in the world. So obviously, depending the area where one is, you have there's a time differences. Personally, I am in Moscow. Now, the transition itself from Zambia to Russia wasn't easy. First thing, we had to get used to the weather, you had to get used to the food, and you also had to get used to stay away from the family, which is not an easy thing to do. Personally, for me, it got a lot of time to get to. The weather, I remember the clothing I had when I arrived in Russia at that time. I was thinking it's very hot because
Mm.
we arrived in November, and that's pretty much the onset of winter. So when I arrived at the airport, only to find that the clothes I had weren't warm enough. So it was a matter of uh, trying to experience this cold weather for the very first time. Aside that, the food as well was a shock for me because obviously different cultures. Being someone who almost ate shima all the time at home, so it got a lot of experience. It got a lot of challenge and just a lot of shift in where that is concerned. Friendship wise, I've been lucky. I wouldn't complain enough. I've been lucky to have a few Zambians, actually, most Zambians at my school. If anything, my school, which is Ruden University, hosts the majority of Zambian students, probably in the entire of Russia. So it's been a bit of adapting here and there, but overall, I think we're good to go as things stand.
All right, so that's good. That's good. Talk a little bit about the Russian women. You didn't mention that.
The Russian women. Well, that's usually a no-go area for me. Well, in the sense that I really feel that most of these interracial relationships are
Mhm.
pretty much based on the idea of what you can offer than you personally. I feel
No, I
most
think we'll
Russian.
leave We'll leave it at that. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. We don't want people to come for you.
Wow.
No,
All
sure,
right.
sure.
So, Mike, talk a little bit about, because you've been there for some time also in school. Would you say most of the Zambians in Russia, they are out there, they are in school, or are there Zambians who are running businesses? Talk a little bit about just the other dynamics.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully my sound is okay now. With
Mhm.
regard to the dynamics and the stay of Russians here, I would say the majority, probably 90%, 95% are here for studies. Because when you come here, the visa that you receive is a study visa. So most, uh, probably, yeah, 95% of everyone that's here, that's a Zambian, is here on a study basis. We do have say two different regimes, that's those who are on scholarship and those who are self-sponsored. So if you came here on scholarship, you are definitely here for studies, and then if you came here on self-sponsorship, there'll be a few tweaks here and there in your visa that will allow you to work and study at the same time, but generally the majority is here on studies. We do have some people that graduated and stayed for further studies, master's, PhD, but that's sort of a different situation because initially our contracts are you come, you study, you graduate, you go back home. So those that stayed will most likely be sponsoring themselves, and
Mm.
that's it's a little a technicality there. It will take a little bit more of explaining. Generally, that's the sense of it. Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, so if you are just joining us, you want to make sure you like and follow the stream. Share with your friends out there in Russia, because we know it's a very, very big country with 11 time zones. Some people could be waking up, others are planning for lunch, and others may be planning to go to sleep. So right now up here, it's in the morning on the US time, one of the time zones. It's no, no, yeah, Eastern time is slightly after 12 o'clock, and Central time it's 11, and Pacific time it's 9, and Mountain time it's 10. So those are the four time zones for the US. So if you are just joining us, you have a question, you want to put it up on your type it up on your chat, and then we'll be able to showcase it up here on the stream, like we saw from Zulu, who commented that the audio is good. So if you have a question for our guest, put it up on the screen, and then we'll be able to stream it up there. So let's go back and see. I've never been to Russia. I plan on visiting Russia at some point in future. I know most of the Zambians that I've heard of in Russia, they went there for school. So uh, James has written a book or wrote a book. Talk to us a little bit, James, about your book.
All right. So my book is titled "What I Wish I Knew as an African Child," to be specific. So this
And
book.
Mike, okay, hold on, James, for a minute. So, Mike, if you haven't written a book, you can write it right now so that at least we can also share it.
Yeah, so the book title is "What I Wish I Knew as an African Child." Now, this mainly springs from the very idea of, when you come to experience the other part of the world, and you just find how things are run and how kids are taught differently, you find that there's a lot of differences pertaining to how a child is raised. In the book, I mention a lot of things about the respect paradox, financial literacy, about um, things like the because I said so mentality or doctrine that we've been taught in our times since growing up. Now, I had this interaction with some Russian students, few of them. So actually, they're younger. So at one point, one of them, they're about 10, 11 years old, and one of them was trying to explain to the friend about how loans work.
Mhm.
And then in my head, I was like, God, when I was 10, I never actually knew about how loans work. He explained everything. Obviously, by now, I know about how those things work. I might not know it from an expert. point of view, but I know about how those things work. So for me, I was in awe of it. So I asked the child to say, "Oh, how do you know about this?" And he was like, "No, these are the things that my parents at home teach me." So, it got me thinking to say, how many things don't I know? Whoa, this is not really a backlash to our parents to say, you know what, you didn't teach us much. I just feel they did teach us much from what they knew and the knowledge they had at that time. Obviously, uh, we can't disclaim the discrepancies between the culture and the development of the two countries in this space. So those few experiences, a few things that I thought of that growing up we ignore, and that intentionally hinders the type of person that we are. I believe each and every person we are today is a building of blocks that have been taught, and since you were a child, cultures that you practice since you were a child, and that tends to affect the kind of person that you are, and also the values that you hold. Interestingly, maybe I might explain a little bit more in like a minute. Interestingly, we have this notion in Zambia where, for example, if you go into a classroom
Mhm.
of Zambian students, you find that usually the smartest student is usually the one that's considered to be silent, or the silent one is always like the smartest in
Mhm.
class. But this part of the world is different. If you don't speak up, you end up failing your subject or your courses. So
Oh.
here, here they always you actually gain marks for speaking up in class. Now, for me, the very first time I went in class, it was a matter of, you know what, the teacher is speaking, let me just keep quiet. And my Russian counterparts were raising hands, the teacher is speaking, they're throwing answers here and there. And I got a zero for my first class because those are a few things,
Is it the lack of
those
participation?
not really lack of participation, but I just feel the education system is different in a sense. And also at the same time, well, linking my idea to the book is the idea of we have this whenever an adult is speaking, regardless of whatever they're talking about, whether good or bad, we don't necessarily have that urge to challenge their ideologies. And you don't blame us because those are ideas that we've been taught to say, okay,
Mm.
you know what? Since Noah is older than you, even if what he says is wrong, let him
Mhm.
finish. If you have
Yeah.
anything to talk to him about, just keep it to yourself. And those are kind of ideologies that we grow up even in our households. But how about if we change such mindsets to say, okay, you know what? Yes, you can challenge when Noah is speaking, but here is a way that you can challenge him.
Mhm.
So we don't really approach, or at least most of us never really approach life from that standpoint or perspective. So all those nitty gritties and all those interactions and that got me thinking enabled me to write this book. Now, this book doesn't only just focus on, pointing out everything that we we don't know or things that we don't practice. It goes on
Mm.
to say, okay, the very idea that we've managed to grow in that environment, it's also a superpower in some way because we've learned how to handle difficult situations. At the same time, it gives solutions on how we can best shift that practice or best shift that mindset from the traditional way of raising an African child to a more modern way that encompasses both culture as well as modernity. Because I think that's a very important. At the moment, the world is going ever global, and they say no country is a I mean, the world is a global village, so you do best
Mhm.
to know the nitty gritties of the ins and the rounds of being part and parcel of this global village.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's indeed it's a global world, and we are connected. I think internet has made things much easier because you guys being out there in Russia, I'm being up here in the US, and other people being in different parts of the world. We are able to interact in real time and to connect. So yes, indeed, the world is a global village. So now let's transition a little bit and bring up Mr. Peter to share some thoughts because he's been also in Russia. So, Peter Musenge, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been there.
Right, thank you so much. I am Peter, as earlier alluded. I have been in Russia since 2024. I'm here studying mechanical engineering, but I'm a very passionate musician. Very passionate musician. I feel like if it wasn't for the African Zambian culture that music is not a career path that leads to, success and getting a good paying job, I would have gone to study professionally as a musician because
Okay,
it's
okay.
like one of yeah, but
Right. So we see, yeah, I think like I'll let you. I'll come back to you on the music note there. So I think nowadays we are seeing there are a lot of people like the Yo Maps and the others who have really done a great job. Uh, the focus for most countries, I know, it's the STEMs, the sciences, technology, engineering, and math. We don't see so much of a push into the liberal sciences or the arts. How is that different? Is that the case in Russia? Do you see the Russian pushing people in the liberal studies or the music area? For instance, I think Nigeria, I don't know if maybe it's because of the push by the government, but I mean, we all seen these Nollywood movies and Nigeria, Afro music and all that. Talk a little bit about what is different or what you're seeing in Russia in terms of those spaces.
okay. So compared to Zambia, Russia has very organized systems. Yeah, in everything. So included with the liberal arts and the arts. So, for example, almost every kid you meet in Russia either goes for dancing classes, painting classes, or music classes, and then there's music schools. So I feel like that this stems from the understanding they have that arts, liberal arts, they help build creativity in kids.
Mhm.
So even most kids that are studying other courses like medicine or engineering at my university have at least have an experience with the arts in childhood. So they have like such a system where at least everyone has to at least have this opportunity to experience arts in school or growing up with their parents, and we don't have that in Zambia.
Yeah, I think it's because the emphasis for most countries has been on the STEM and it leaves out the creative expression aspect. So hopefully, maybe that's something that with much publicity or talking about it, I think that's something that maybe could be an approach that the Zambian government or those in authority may look into. But aside from the music, tell us a little bit about what you're studying and how long you've been studying and how long you have to go to complete, and anything
Okay.
else you want to share.
Okay, so I've been studying since 2024. I came to do my part fac, which is the language course, which ended in 2025, and then I started pursuing my mechanical engineering degree from 2025, and I just completed my first year. I did my final first year exams like 2 weeks ago, so I cleared my exams and going into second year this coming semester in September. And the mechanical engineering part is very interesting because it evokes a certain
Mhm,
part of your analytic skills. There's a lot of calculus
mhm.
and there's just a lot of physics there going on. So you also have to be prepared, ready, and uh, I think passionate about it too. Because without the interest, you can't do anything. You can't get the results from it. Yeah, and then I
Okay.
also play some chess. I play chess. I like to play chess. Um, I like to play a lot of chess. I even
Mhm.
participated in some local university Olympics. But the Russian guys are quite good though, because they started when they are kids, and I picked up chess when I just got here, like 2 years ago. So I like chess too, and that keeps me going.
All right, that's good. That's good. I remember back when I was coming up, one of my cousin, Martin Perry, he used to play chess. So back then there used to be Mr. Perry, Kennedy Perry, in the Zambian Chess Federation, was one of sort of the pioneers, and he had a club called Pambana Stars, and I think Amos Simtowe used to be back then the number one, and the number two guy was Martin Perry. He was also in Russia studying, and he returned back home now. He's been lecturing at UNZA for quite some time. So what I see mostly for the folks in Russia is when they go out there for school, they complete their path, and then they return back home. But that is not the case in other parts of the world. So we're going to get back to Mr. Peter. Let's bring up somebody that I think Peter may know very well. I'll let him introduce himself. If you are paying attention, you'll be able to see that this is somebody who looks like Peter. Tell us a little bit about yourself, the person who looks a little bit like Peter.
Okay, the person who looks a little bit like Peter is named Patson Musenge.
Mhm.
I am also a student here in Russia as well, just like the rest of these guys.
All right, that's good. So, Patson, tell us, how long have you been there and what are you studying?
I have been in Russia for about 5 years now. I am a medical student. Technically, I'm now a sixth year medical student.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty much counting down my last year here. I'll be most likely heading back home next year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So one thing that I know about Zambians who go to study in Russia, you guys have to go through the language. How is that process? Talk to us a little bit about how long it takes one to be up to par, I guess, to be able to communicate effectively and all that. And are you fluent Russian speaker? Oh, and how many languages? I don't know. You know, in Zambia there are 70 something languages, but in Russia, how many languages are out there in Russia? And before you respond, for those who are joining us remotely, watching either on YouTube or Facebook, if you have a question for our guest, just type it up on your end there, and then we'll be able to stream it up on our end here. If you have a question, you have a comment, and tell us where you are joining from if you are not in Russia. I see there is
ты разговариваешь, да?
Jen
Ну ладно,
Mustenge. Wow, this is interesting. So, yes, so if you have a comment, you have a question, type it up there. Yeah, so Patson, tell us a little bit about the language, and maybe you can even speak in Russian.
Okay. Okay, I was just checking to see if a colleague is around. I would have asked him to come here and speak a little bit of Russian.
Oh yeah, so we have, let's see, maybe James, can you, let's switch everything to Russian. Who speaks good Russian here?
No, there's no problem. We can do that. I've been in Russia myself for the same time as Patson. So of course it's not as perfect as the natives, but it holds conversations.
Okay, good. But you guys, before you get into the show, the expectation is that you have to study language first, right? Is that the case?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you actually,
Go ahead,
learn.
James.
All right. So you actually, when you come here to Russia, you don't exactly begin learning what you came here to study. So you are given a year called preparatory faculty. So in the preparatory faculty is where they teach you the language. It's also called the language year, or sometimes shortly called Padfak by most Russians. So this preparatory year is like, by then whatever you're studying hasn't been counted yet. You're still at zero level. And after a year, that's when you begin to study what you came here for. So if you're in medical school, you start your first year. If you're an engineer, your first year. But everything comes after the preparatory year where you learn the language.
Okay. Yeah. So aside from language, what else? Let's talk maybe about the culture change. I know the weather could be one of the main factors. But what were some of the things that when you guys showed up there in Russia, you're like, oh, this is different? Anyone can go.
Okay. Perhaps I should go. The first thing I noticed that was different. The people were different. I suppose that would be the most obvious response. I remember when I came, because I was one of the last students to travel. So we traveled in a very small group, and I remember when we arrived in Moscow, I was the only student who was supposed to travel to the city where I currently am, and so I had to connect to a different flight, and I would connect from Moscow to here where I am, which is the southern part of Russia, a city called Rostov-on-Don. And I remember getting on this small flight, and then it just suddenly hit me that it felt like I was the only one it felt like I was the only, I don't even know how to say it without sounding...
The only black person?
I was the only black person on the flight, and it felt like I was in a very strange place, like in a place where I did not belong. And I was a little bit uncomfortable to begin with. I was just, you know where you keep on looking around and wondering, wait, maybe I could see one black person in here, so that maybe, I don't know. And then I remember I was seated to this very old man, and then it seemed like he noticed that I was a little bit uncomfortable. And then I remember him asking me where I was from, and then I said, I'm from Zambia. And then he said, Zambia, it's Africa. I said, yes, it's Africa. And then he said, Africa is strong. And then I said, yes, Africa is strong. And then for a moment, I felt a little bit comfortable. So if you ask me, the first thing that I noticed that was different, it was definitely the people.
Okay. How about you, James? What stood out for you when you first showed up in Russia?
Well, I think not really stood out, but more of something that took some time for me to get used to is the educational system and how exams are conducted in general. So I'll just give you a scenario of how exams are in Russia. So it's funny, yeah. Usually when you write exams in Zambia, you have to wait like 3 months to get results, or depending on the university or the level that you're talking about. But in Russia, you get your exam
so I have
results
a colleague
the
here who
moment.
wants to say hi. Oh, sorry for disturbing.
No, go ahead.
So this is Dr. Teifour. He's a reanimatologist and an anesthesiologist.
I'm his best doctor. I love my patient. Скажите, что ты самый лучший мой брат.
He says, I am the best brother ever.
И самый лучший человек, которого я видел в этом мире.
The best person I've ever seen in the world.
That's good. At least somebody can vouch for Pat being nice. I don't know who can vouch for James or Mike.
No, we'll leave it up for for later. Yeah, so I was just catching on the educational system and how different it is. So I was mentioning that usually in Zambia we have this system where you have to wait for your results after writing an exam for long. But in Russia, what stood out really, or what was shocking in a sense, is that you get to have your results the moment you are just finishing your exam actually. Now, just a short run through of the Russian exam system. For example, if we're in a group of 10 students, there's you enter a room. So a room, we call them, you need to pick a ticket. We call them tickets. So tickets are like exam papers where your questions are. Now, in Zambia, each and every person will be writing the same paper, same questions, same arrangement and all that. But with Russia, the 10 of you are going to have different exam questions. So there's no way you can copy from your friend. Now that to me was very strange. Now for medical students, it's even worse. Well, depending on the point you're looking at it from, is that you don't actually write and submit the papers to the teachers. How it is you'll be taken to a room of 12 professors, maybe one or two, sometimes three professors, and they'll call you, go to their table. Then you start discussing your questions that you had on the exam paper. So they'll call you. Now, depending on how you answer, the questions might vary. They can take you from things that's not on your paper. They can ask you further on things that are on the paper, and they can pretty much ask you anything within the curriculum of your studies. Now, that's very interesting for me, and it took some time to get used to. But at the end of it all, once you're done answering, they give you your marks and off you go. So that's how the education system works. It's very different from what we're used to in Zambia.
I think that's good. That's good. See, the good thing about traveling is you get the exposure and learning about how other people conduct their sort of examination in this case, and also it makes you appreciate or maybe not appreciate what you have in your own country, and also at the same time it leaves an opportunity to see how things can be improved in Zambia. So I'm sure you guys, once you are done with your studies, then you'll be returning back home in Zambia. So before we switch gears a little bit, uh, Mike, I think Mike has been able to write a book in the short period of time we've been talking. So Mike, tell us a little bit about your authorship. Your authorship.
All right. Okay, so yes, I have been able to write 2 books in the short time that we've been discussing. My journey as an author started way in high school. Actually, I've always had an interest for books. I used to be the academic prefect back then. So I library, basically books that in that I had a connection. After high school, I attempted from read and encouraging people. Actually go for a book. Why not? And I did my first book. I started writing my first book around 2 years ago. I finished writing timelines. The title is Fear versus Love. Unfortunately, I do not have a physical copy with me for you, but hopefully the opportunity will provide in the future. So Fear versus Love, I'll just talk about the book. Basically, when people hear fear and love, at least in the context that I wrote it, it's a bit of the subject of a debate, different perspectives on what it is. But in my book, I get to address the possible connection between fear and love, because at the time that I topic, I found it was actually very a big connection. So before I go into that, let it an author of fiction and fiction, Christian.
Yeah, you want to speak up a little bit louder because you are in and out. Speak up a little bit.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
All right. So I don't know where I should start. So I was saying I'm a Christian author. The books I write are Christian and fiction. I also write fiction, more Christian and fiction. So the book is a Christian book. It talks about the interrelation between the fear and the love as a motive force the lives of people. So in this book, we identify how these force, really affect the lives of people. People can do out of being in fear, what people can do as a result of having taken by love, and basically what I feel love as forces. So I get up different tests that I do. I conduct a bit of survey here and there just to better and give a bit of a perspective. Imagine now we have something I actually talk about in the book in a bit more depth, but just to summarize it, imagine a situation where a parent is on the road with a car, with their car, and here comes a car. Maybe the child runs, or they rush, out of the park and just try to cross the road quickly, and the car is approaching, and the parent notices the car is approaching.
Mhm.
The obvious action that one would have is they would rush to carry the child, to safety out of the road. And the question that I asked myself is, what is the driving force between the parents' action rather? The love to have the child, or is it the fear in
Yeah, okay.
regards to the situation? As that we get to understand that there really is an interrelation between fear and love. Can be said there are two sides of the same coin, because most of the actions that people do is either out of fear for something, or out of love for something or someone. I'll give you one more example because I Christian book. So on the side,
Okay, yeah. So I think Mike, your audio is not very good. So we'll get back to you. Let's go to Peter. Peter, you also have a talent. Talk to us about your talent, and because I know people want to learn about what Zambians are doing. I know you guys, you're in school. So let's talk about the cool stuff, the fun stuff that you do. Peter, tell us what you do.
Okay. So I play flute. I also play a couple of other like woodwind instruments and percussion instruments that I learned from church. But the flute is like the instrument I've played for close to 10, 11 years now. And I started playing the flute when I was 12 years old, 12, 11 years old, back in
When you say
2015.
fruit like a mango or apple, or what type of fruit are you talking about here?
This flute,
Oh, okay,
a
okay.
musical instrument.
I was thinking the other fruit.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been playing this flute, and I also got opportunities to like study it with professional people. So it's not just been a hobby or something I do underground, but it's something that I've like had professional insights. I've attended master classes for flutes, played in an orchestra back home, playing in a band here, and it's been more than a
Good.
hobby.
Good. You play in a band. All right, that's interesting. So we're gonna take a short break, and then when we be back, when we come back, then we'll be able to hear Peter live demonstration of the mango fruit. Oh, I mean the other fruit, so that at least people can see what he's talking about. All right. If you're just joining us, this is Gochalo. We are focusing on Zambians in Russia. We are chatting with people who have been in Russia. And what I see mostly people in Russia, Zambian in Russia, is these are people who go out as students. And once they finish up with their studies, then they return back home. So let's go back and join Peter as he demonstrates what he does. And this is him playing the fruit. So let's see, Mr. Peter, take it away.
Okay, so I'm playing a melody that is very famous and familiar with most Zambians called Tiende Pamozi Ndi Mtima Umozi by, I think, Kabunda. something close to this.
That's good. That's good. So, what you said? When did you start? Was it when you were a child, or who influenced you to chat? That was good. That was good. So, because most of the people, they know about the guitar or the piano, but not the flute. So, what inspired you to take that route?
Okay. So for the flute, firstly, the interest in with music in general started from home, because my older siblings, were active church musicians. So that's where the interest was built. And then going at church, observing, seeing, and then I think there was a day I attended a church concert, and then I saw someone playing flute, and the beauty of the flute just hit my heart. And I'm a kind of person that when I set a goal that I need to learn this instrument, I make sure I do learn it. And one of the interesting thing about how I learned the flute is that I had no teacher. So my first 7 years of playing this flute were through YouTube videos, imitation, Facebook videos, try and error. And then after playing this for 7 years, somewhere in 2022, through Facebook, I met this woman called Dr. Heidi. She's actually from the US, from Dallas in Texas. And then she offered me like a scholarship, right, through her flute studio. And then I used to take online lessons with the flute from her every day for a year straight. And I think that experience changed my playing, because it was like more professional. She had like good insights and materials for me to practice. And then I think after that scholarship, my perspective about the flute and my experience changed. And I think that's how I got here.
That's good. Yeah, because it's not common. It's not a common instrument that we see people play. So kudos to you for doing that. Yeah. So if you're just joining us, this is Kuchalo focusing on the Zambians in Russia. We are chatting with Zambians in the great country of Russia. So we'll be finalizing in a few minutes. So we'll take our last break and we'll be right back. All right, so we are back continuing the conversations with Zambians residing in Russia, and everybody up here is a student. And we did extend an invitation to our female friends, but I think maybe due to some schedule conflicts, we were not able to have the females join us. We hope they will be able to join us on a future show. So, Patson, what would you like for Zambians to know about Russia?
That's a very interesting question. I would like Zambians to know that Russia is a very interesting country, and I would perhaps speak from my own personal experience and say that Russia will be, even when I leave, I think even 10 years, 20, even 50 years from today, when I leave this place, Russia is a place that will remain very close to my heart, just because I came here thinking I was only coming to study medicine, become a doctor, and go back home. But I came here, and I feel like I found myself. I found myself through the different encounters I had. I found myself through the many people I met. I found myself through the kindness of the Russian people. And I know there are a lot of stereotypes about Russia, about Russian people, but I like to say that the warmth of Russia, the warmth of Russia is not found in it's not found in it's not found in the heaters, not even in the radiators, but it's found in the hearts of Russian people. When you get to know them,
Mhm.
when you get to know them, and they get to know you.
Mhm. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think from your expression, you can tell that you really found yourself and you are happy with where you are and what you have done. So now let's go to James. James, tell us what you want the Zambians to take away from this conversation today.
Well, from this conversation, let me start by saying that I am from I'm not from a rich background.
Mhm.
Um, I'm from a family other people might consider a poor family, or depending on the standard. But why I'm saying this in the first place is that it doesn't matter which family you're from. It doesn't matter your background. If you believe you can achieve something, then all you have to do is work hard, ensure that you're well informed about what you want to achieve exactly, and go for it. For me, what it took was getting good grades, and the good grades that helped me be where I am today. Now, aside that, the very one thing I really want to the viewers to take away is that you don't always have to make it through what you're studying. I mean, you can explore other facets of life outside of what you're studying if you're a student. Well, I believe even if you are working right now, let's say if you're a doctor, if you're an engineer, if there's an opportunity for growth outside that engineering cycle, take it. You don't always, I think life wasn't generally created to be experienced only in one facet. So for me, that's something I'm truly learning to do, and it's something that I've tried myself to deliberately do. Because if you look at my book, I experienced questions that, whoa, you are a medical student. Does that mean the contents of this book is about medicine? Trust me, the book I wrote has nothing to do with medicine. It's just about life. So, in a nutshell, don't limit yourself. You are not meant to be a one direction person. Experience life to the fullest. And also, if these are my last words in relation to just being in Russia and Zambia, the differences is that Russians love their country, they preserve their culture, they're proud of being Russians. That's one thing I have seen and observed keenly. And I think if only 50% of us Zambians would think in that manner, I believe and I'm 100% sure that development is just on the horizon.
Yes, yes, I like that. I think I can attest that for the US. People in the US love their country, and it would be nice for Zambians to be more patriotic to the country. So yeah, so let's go to Mike. I know you struggled with the internet here and there. So Mike, make sure you are unmuted. And what, in terms of your experiences there in Russia, what would you like for the Zambians back home or in the diaspora to know about Russia? Because Russia is one of the countries which is misunderstood, and in the mainstream media, which is now being referred to as legacy media, there are certain, I think, talking points that people who like others to know about certain countries. But from your perspective, what would you like others to know about Russia?
Thank you very much, Noah. I do hope the network audio is okay now. What I would like to say the viewers to know about Russia is just as my colleague James here has alluded to, it's a very, very welcoming place. You know, I mentioned earlier at the beginning to say this place has been nothing but welcome. It's a really lovely place, and just as Patson said, in the next couple of years, this place will be close to all of our hearts. Uh, what people should one thing that people do is be open when it comes to issues pertaining to even those that are in Russia. The Russians are a very people. James has already mentioned they love their culture, they love their country, their history, and as a foreigner living in Russia, it is going to be better for you to try to adapt and just be open-minded. Try to learn more about them, learn about how they do things, and it is actually going to help you incorporate that when you get back home. It's not the things that we were told as we were coming, the things that you learn that will be useful as you come back to Zambia. So, that's one of the things that people learn as a foreigner living here. Then a couple of other things. Russians are very how do I put it? They're people that are cooperative. They love working together with people, and they don't have this mind. I need to win by myself. They understand this. I is big enough for everyone, and they have a sense of everyone must win together. So I believe that's something we can incorporate also as people that are living as foreigners living here. It is something we can take back home with us, and even as the viewers who are in Zambia, it is something that they can try to incorporate as well. Really, really, really lovely mindset that at least I've observed from the Russians that I've interacted with. Yeah.
All right. So that's good. It's mindset plays a huge role, I think, in the way people conduct themselves, people position themselves. So now let's go to Peter. I know Peter, what I can say for him is that I know with this flute, I'm sure those Russian women, they are always flocking, but we're going to leave them out. Tell us anything else outside of that, Peter.
Okay, so firstly, what I would like people to know about Russia is that it's a country that is rich in arts, poetry, paintings, and music. For those who are very familiar with classic music, Russia has like one of the best classic music composers, Tchaikovsky, and those who listen to classic music are familiar with this, and we have to appreciate that as well. And then my last words would be that I have experienced most of my growth by doing things that are outside of my comfort zone, especially here. So, there are certain things because they're different from how things are done back home. So, but for here, you have to like do things you are not comfortable with and then try to, just try and then see the outcome. And then, you experience growth from there. So, I've actually experienced a lot of growth. One experience is how I managed to I fix flutes. So there's this music shop I got to, and I worked there as like a flute repair. So I fix musical instruments and flutes. So how I got this job is I just randomly went there, and then I couldn't even speak Russian by that time. I just like typed on the phone, showed them the translated version, and then they were interested, asked me questions. It was uncomfortable for me to go to a stranger and just explain myself that I am interested in learning how to do that kind of job. But it led to many opportunities after that, playing at events I was invited to. And so I'll just advise people to, just try things that you're afraid of, things that seem uncomfortable. Don't be scared to try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then, you try something else. So that has really helped me a lot, especially being here.
All right. Thank you, Peter. This has been a conversation with Zambians in Russia. We hope to circle back with you guys and see where you're at, because I think you are towards the tail end of your career, your education. So hopefully, and don't be a stranger, we'll be featuring Zambians in India next month. So this gives you also an opportunity to join or tag along next month and listen to what Zambians in India are doing. And if you have questions for them, you can also ask them questions. But I think for now, unless somebody, I know there are World Cup matches. I think we can't go without mentioning that. I know Russia is not in the competition there, and Russia, I think, was because of some things that were happening. Russia was not part of the, I think, the previous tournaments and other competition events. Can somebody just share how is the World Cup being received out there, and how is the atmosphere or excitement, or maybe lack thereof?
Oh, allow me to go first.
James, go ahead.
Well, I mean, all right. I mean, the environment of students, and I think even plus the time difference, like you earlier alluded to, most of the matches are start playing like at that is in Moscow time, like at 11 p.m. Some of them at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you'll be watching in your room because obviously it will be very late for me personally, for me going out at that time. And if maybe in the next room there's people uh, that are supporting a particular team, you'd hear the noise and you'd be asking yourself, why are people not sleeping at 3 or at 4? So generally, in a sense of the environment where I'm in, it's obviously being watched as always. I mean, it's the it's the probably the best game in the world. Well, obviously that's debatable when it comes to the United States, but overall, the reception is always amazing, and people are always engaging in football. You live in your hostel, they'll be asking, "Oh, which team is winning the World Cup this year?" And my response oftentimes will be Argentina. I mean, they are the best player in the world.
All right. Yeah. So somebody has asked me to ask, can somebody talk a little bit about, as we are finalizing, and you each have your last word, because I think what we asked was about what would you say about Russia, and then now you'll be able to, as we are finalizing, to talk about whatever you want to talk about, which you didn't get a chance to talk about, if there's anything that you want to talk about. So the question before we get there is, how many Zambians would you say, or Africans in Russian institutions, schools, do you get to see a lot of Zambians there, or maybe West Africans or people from East Africa? What's the population like in terms of our Africans being there?
Oh, maybe allow me to take that.
Yeah. So
Seeing
we'll
that
go
I served
to,
as president.
yeah,
Yeah.
Patson,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
James and
Mhm.
Patson. Yes, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. So I served as Zambian students chairperson in Russia. So the population at that time, obviously now people are graduating, so it's a bit different. But we have over 400 students across Russia that are studying in Russia. Then we have over about 270 students that are within Moscow, and my university has about 100 Zambians. So that's statistics on the Zambian side. So I mentioned during the interviews that usually my university has the highest population of Africans. Well, it's like an international university in some sense. So this is where you find a variety of races: Africans, Asians, Europeans, Americans. Majority of them are at my school. So in Moscow, to be specific, we have a, a wide range of races and a wide range of Africans nationalities, but most of them, I think, by now are francophones and a, a mixture of the Westerns and as well as West Africa, as well as a bit of Southern. But the majority of students from Southern part of Africa are Zambians, according to what I've noticed.
Oh, okay. Good. Patson, you want to add to that?
Yes, I left that question for James because I figured he'd definitely be in the best position to respond to it with regards to the total number of Zambian students in Russia. But I would suppose I could speak to the number of Zambians in my city. We aren't that many at the moment. I think we're only about maybe 6, I think. But it used to be more being 15. But yeah, we are about 6 now. There are quite a number of Africans here, though. Definitely a lot of Nigerians, because Nigerians are kind of like, you know, everywhere. Yeah. So there are a lot of
They're out
Nigerians.
there.
Yeah. So there are definitely a lot of Nigerians. Now, what I have noticed, I think, from last year is that when you step outside, when I step outside my hostel, it doesn't matter which direction I go in,
Mhm.
I would definitely see like an African. So it seems the number of Africans is increasing now. I don't know, perhaps they increased uh, the quota, maybe the number of students that are coming to Russia perhaps increased. I'm not sure. I can't say for sure, but yeah, there are definitely more Africans now than there were, say, 5 years ago.
Okay, okay, all right. So, gentlemen, this is now the closing remarks. Anything you want to share as we conclude? We're gonna start with Muyunda. Mike, take it away. Your final thoughts, whatever you want to share.
Thank you once again for the opportunity, our Patson for reaching out, Kuchalo for the platform, and also everyone, the speakers here. I don't know if I should consider them closing remarks per se, though I will try to market myself. I did mention to say I'm an author, and unfortunately, due to network glitching, I wasn't able to speak a little on the book. I do have a Facebook page that is dedicated to me being an author, and I'm hoping Noah and the team would allow me to use part of this interview, part of this discussion for the purposes of just marketing that as well, if there are no issues with it. Please have an open mind, like I already mentioned. Russia is a very beautiful place. For those that intend on coming, is something I always encourage the people that I tend to speak to. Being a person who is in leadership position, I've worked with James for mostly, I think my entire duration here, we worked hand in hand with James. He was the president of, the chairperson of all the Zambians in Russia. I was the president of Zambians in my city, so we worked hand in hand. Yeah, it's something we tend to encourage a lot of, especially new students, those who came studying 2023, 24, those that I've personally worked with a lot as well. So come, don't be afraid of any rumors. Russia is a very beautiful place. Russia is a very, very beautiful place, full of opportunity, full of growth, and you definitely meet wonderful, wonderful people. Yeah, like Peter had mentioned earlier, the arts is also something that is very big in Russia. So if you have that talent in you, it is also something you can get to explore when you get to Russia. Because I'm also an artist myself, and I've grown, I would say 70% of my growth as a musician has been here in Russia. Though I don't necessarily release music, I'm more of a songwriter and instrumentalist. But yeah, my growth has mostly been here in Russia as well. I think that would be pretty much. For those that want to know more about my book, please visit my Facebook page. It is my full name, Muyunda Mike Movita, and would get to interact more on the platform. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mike. And let's go to James.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, as following the route Mike had said, I want to take this opportunity to thank Kuchala for giving me this platform. But my, to be brief, for those that would want to interact with me, my name is James Marcelo on every platform: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, even YouTube as well. But my last words to everyone that's listening is, let me give these 3 pointers. The first thing is, don't let your background limit you. Whatever you set your mind to, it can definitely be achieved, even if you're the first person in your family. Number two, you don't have to be old to do exploits. You don't have to be young to do exploits. You just have to be you. So start now. Don't be afraid to start. I think the most growth are on the journey. Don't wait to reach a certain age to achieve something. Start now. And number three, we only have ourselves to develop Zambia. Being out here in as much as it's amazing, we get to experience all the amazing stuff, all the cool stuff that are in this part of the world. One thing that I always set my mind to or my heart to is that one day I want Zambia to look the way this part of the world looks, and if not better. So the only people that can do that is ourselves, and each and every person needs to take that upon themselves. Maybe a bit of a sprinkler on that is I'm one person who encourages to be involved in well meaningful content, like you said from the preamble of the video of Kuchalo, where the world is full of noise, and you try to broaden this and try to narrow it down to something that is concrete and something that is worth inspiring. I believe this is one thing that people should really emulate. I mean, it's not always us about being, it's not always about involving ourselves in these international and celebrity gossips every now and then, in as much as that's good for the reading and all the drama, but we needs to seriously engage ourselves in constructive and educative content out there. So with that, I end my words for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Let's go to Peter.
Thank you so much. So I would like to maybe just remind people that growth lies in those things that you are maybe afraid to do or scared to do. So like, just go there and do the things that you feel uncomfortable to do, because that's where I've experienced most of my growth. And then secondly, I would like to encourage people to listen to good music. Yeah, good music is flute music. So, listen to some flute music.
Do you know anyone who plays the flute, Peter?
Sorry?
Do you know anyone who plays the flute?
Yeah, I know many people who play the flute back in Zambia, in Russia, in the US. It's just that this in Zambia, classic music is not appreciated, so there is not much publicity to it. But there is like even a Lusaka orchestra in Zambia, so people just can't pay for tickets. They can play tickets for your maps, but they can't pay tickets to listen to a piano playing, or I don't know, a violin playing, because it's not yet very popular in our culture. But yeah, listen to flute music. You can listen to flute music on my Instagram at Peter Musenge, or you can listen to good music again on my Facebook at Peter Musenge. We are still making more content with the band. Coming home, we are starting, music schools, bands, orchestras, everything that has to do with good music. And yeah, we're doing that everything soon. So I think that's it from me.
Right. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. This has been a pleasure interacting with you all to learn about what Zambians are doing in Russia, because we often see a lot of people flocking either to South Africa, people going to the UK, Europe, and also people coming to the US or Canada. Russia, at least we didn't know so much, but at least I'm happy that there are over 400, maybe even more Zambians doing great and meaningful things. And this has been just a great way to spend some time to chit chat about the happenings there in Russia. And we look forward to connect with you all on a future date, so that at least we can be able to hear once you conclude with your studies. But for now, thank you, gentlemen, and we'll be able to circle back on a future date. But for now, enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, depending on whatever time it is on the end of the world. Thank you and bye for now.
Thank you for having us.